Well, I'm super excited, guys. We are live for another edition of Behind Closed Doors. We've got a special guest, and I'm excited, Sheri, to be talking about something that couples, listen to me very carefully. Valentine's Day will be here sooner than you think. What would it look like for you to travel? Well, I'm super excited, guys. We are live for another edition of Behind Closed Doors. We've got a special guest, and I'm excited, Sheri, to be talking about something that couples, listen to me very carefully. Valentine's Day will be here sooner than you think. What would it look like for you to travel? And I'm super excited, guys. We are live for another edition of Behind Closed Doors. We've got a special guest, and I'm excited, Sheri, to be talking about something that couples, listen to me very carefully. Valentine's Day will be here sooner than you think. What would it look like for you? There we go. So I messed that up, but
I can't hear you.
it's all good. Can you hear me now?
No, I can't hear you through here.
Okay, check 2. All right, guys, I need to figure out.
I think it's the other way around.
That couples, listen to me very carefully. Valentine's Day will be here sooner than you think. What would it look like for you?
No, I can't hear you through here.
Okay, check 2. All right, guys, I need to figure out.
I think it's the other way around.
That couples, listen to me very carefully. Valentine's Day will be here sooner than you think. What would it look like for you?
No, I can't hear you through here.
Okay, check 2. All right, guys, I need to figure
I
out.
think it's the other way
Guys, I
around.
apologize. That couples, listen to me very carefully. Valentine's Day will be here sooner than you think. What would it look like if you? Y'all hang tight, because I'm trying to work out some technical difficulties here, and I have not figured this one out. So give me a second.
No, I can't hear you through here.
Okay, check 2. All right, guys, I need to figure
I
out.
think it's the other way
Guys, I
around.
apologize. That part. That couples, listen to me very carefully. Valentine's Day will be here sooner than you think. What would it look like if you? Y'all hang tight, because I'm trying to work out some technical difficulties here, and I have not figured this one out here. So give me a second.
No, I can't hear you through here.
Okay, check 2. All right, guys, I need to figure out.
I think it's the other way
Guys,
around.
for the live. That couples, listen to me very carefully. Valentine's Day will be here sooner than you think. What would it look like? Sure that we're good. Y'all hang tight, because I'm trying to work out some technical difficulties here, and I have not figured this one out here. So give me a second.
No, I can't hear you through here.
Okay, check 2. All right, guys, I need to figure out.
It's the other way around.
For the live. That couples, listen to me very carefully. Valentine's Day will be here sooner than you think. What would it look like? Sure that we're good. Y'all hang tight, because I'm trying to work out some technical difficulties here, and I have not figured this one out here. So give me a second.
No, I can't hear you through here.
Okay, check 2. All right, guys, I need to figure out.
It's the other way around.
For the live. That couples, listen to me very carefully. Valentine's Day will be here sooner than you think. What would it look like? Y'all hang tight, because I'm trying to work out some technical difficulties here, and I have not figured this one out here. So give me a second. All right. Mic check, testing 1, 2.
Try to share screen. Play the intro. Let's see.
Okay. This is funny. Hang tight, guys. We here. Let's go. Let's
Joys of life.
listen. I am not mad. All my content creators, you understand. Let's check this out. Stay tuned for Behind Closed Doors. We'll see if this works. Wow. Wow. All right. I think we're good. I think we're good. So I apologize for those of you guys who have stuck through this madness with me. Thank you very much. Let's just get right to it. Welcome back to another edition of Behind Closed Doors. I'm Glenn P. Brooks Jr. This light-skinned lady who's laughing hilariously at me is who? Come on back.
Sheri Brooks Jr. That was a heck of an intro.
That was a heck of an intro.
We normally do bloopers, but y'all got live bloopers.
Y'all got some live bloopers. What you talking about? So I just want to say welcome to all of you guys who are here and viewing us live. Do me a favor if you can. Go ahead and put in the chat where you are tuning in from. What city, what country. We've got our travel professional, our travel partner. Jackie is on the line. She is representing New Vibe Travel. And you are live and direct from where are you in the world, Jack?
Where are you in the world?
Kingston, Jamaica, actually. Yes.
Jamaica.
Yes. The motherland, as they say, from the Caribbean. Yeah.
So Jackie, one of the things that I'm super excited about is we're going to talk a little bit about this Reignite experience. Very quick background for those that don't know. Sheri and I live here in Panama City, Panama, and coming up in about a week and a half, it will mark 1 year that we moved here. And the thing that I need everybody to get across is the reason why we moved here stemmed not from what we were running from, but what we were running to. I'm going to say that one more time. And Sheri, I'm waiting on you to get yourself together because I want to go to you. We did not run from the U.S. There was nothing going on in the U.S. that made us move. There are a lot of things that are happening we don't like, just like a lot of people. But that was not why we moved. We did not run from anything. We ran to something. Sheri, can you explain that?
Right. We ran to a place of peace. For me, and those of you that follow us have heard me talk about, I've struggled with depression and anxiety most of my adult life. But with the pandemic, it just exacerbated things. And I realized that I was carrying too much weight. I was carrying too much stress, that I needed a respite. I needed to get away to some place that didn't have the hustle and bustle of the US, that didn't have the negativity of the US. Yes, it took us away from our family, and I miss my family. I miss my kids. I miss my grandkids, but I needed to find my place of solace. And so we came and visited Panama, and I fell in love. Not only with the country, surprisingly, it also reignited something in our relationship. We've been married 25 years this past January, and like many relationships, our relationship had grown very routine, very stagnant in a lot of ways. Although we were doing the work, we had great communication, but there was something missing. And when we came here, there was something about the sun, the air, the water, everything. It reignited something in us, and we've reconnected on a whole nother level. And that's why we chose to host this upcoming event here in Panama, because I want you guys to get a taste of what it is that we felt when we came here.
Yeah, so we literally are asking you guys to come taste and see that living liberated is good. And when we talk about living liberated, Jackie, I think that people don't, let me say it this way, people who've never traveled outside of the US don't understand how liberating it is to see life from a different perspective, to do life from a completely different perspective. Right now, you're in Kingston, Jamaica. It's your husband's homeland. It is where he's from. And you are no stranger to traveling. Can you talk to people a little bit about the experience of traveling with your husband? The experience of reconnecting and rekindling on a regular basis. Now, this is what you do for a living, but I can promise you there's some intrinsic value out of the opportunity to travel together. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. For us, it starts in the packing phase. And it's something to say when you're bickering about washing dishes or who didn't clean up, and then you're actually now trying to get everything packed, your bags, etc. Right? Hold on. I'm seeing, am I stuck here? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're a little sketchy. I think your signal might be a little bit janky, but I can
all the way live today. Yeah,
it's okay.
Yeah, we
live.
see this. This is a day. This is a real life.
I can hear you fine now.
You're fine.
But you were talking about, it's one thing to be bickering about.
No, yeah, washing clothes, etc. And then there's actually packing and getting out the house. And then once you actually get to settle down in the airport for us to lounge and to breathe and say, and when you get on the plane and then you find yourself like touching hands and, you know, caressing or laying on each other's shoulder or resting on each other's lap, you know, you start to already see that whatever the stresses of your everyday life starts to dissipate. In that connection, you're starting to just kind of mold in each other, becoming one again. And, and a lot of it is being on airplane mode. A lot of it is being able to just be silent in that moment and to just feel each other. So, you know, when we landed here in Kingston last night, I remember and it's just for me, like you say, you get stale and routine, just things you don't typically do. I found myself caressing the back of him and saying, and just rubbing his back. And he's like, ooh, you know.
I love it. I love it.
So I guess what my whole thing, I'm trying to paint that picture, if you could follow along without the breaks in it, is our day-to-day lives are so full of responsibility and priorities. And most of us, depending on where we are in life, are in survival mode most of the time, whether it's we trying to meet deadlines and meet other obligations, and we forget us. Like you say, you're running to something, peace it was for you. But then also in that running to something, even if it's for you, you're kind of sometimes running apart from each other. And so travel is an awesome way to discover who you are individually as well as together. And you kind of find yourself observing your significant other, they paying attention to you. And so it's a really magic that also, actually, until you do it, and you do it in a way that in the environment that you're all creating in Panama, is something that's it's hard to really give to you without you experiencing it yourself.
So, and go ahead, Sheri, because I got a video that I want to play. So stay tuned, guys. If you just tuned in, this is Behind Closed Doors with the Brookses. This is our weekly broadcast that we do. We are live. We definitely want to get your feedback, your questions. We're going to make some room for that. Sheri, you got something real quick?
Yeah, one thing I was going to say is, and I can hear people in my head saying, well, we go on staycations, we go away together, we do things together. And I'm not saying that that's not good. I think that that's great if you have developed the habit of doing it, but it's something different about going internationally, going someplace new. And it's a new experience. It creates even more of a connection because you both are going to this place, this unknown place together. And it's like, okay, what are we going to do? What are we going to experience? And one thing that we've done over the past 25 years is we practice finding new experiences to immerse ourselves in regularly, because that creates even a further level of connection, because it's like, it's almost like it's not like a competition, but it's like, it is kind of like a competition.
You level the playing field because you both have no idea what to expect. So
Right.
You're literally doing it together for the first time. You level the playing field. It's not like, oh, I've been here, so I can tell you.
Right.
You're literally discovering together.
Right.
No, that is huge because, babe, I think that even with our trip here to Panama, when we first came in January of 2023, this was a first experience, not only for us, but we traveled with some friends, and it was a first experience for them. Even though we had researched for a few years,
it was nothing like being here.
It was nothing like, let me say this. So YouTube is one thing, and I thank God for it, because you can build a whole house on YouTube University. I understand that. However, let me tell you what I realized, and let me just give a quick aside. For those that just tuned in, yes, we're going to give you some information. We're going to talk about the upcoming Reignite Experience, February 2025. We definitely want you to make sure you get your deposits in so that you can lock your rates in and things like that. Jackie's here to give you some information on it. But I want to digress just for a quick second, and I want to set this up so that you can kind of elaborate on this a little bit, babe. When we came to Panama in January 2023, it was for our 24th wedding anniversary, sort of just celebrating the anniversary. We brought some friends along, and we had planned to be here for 10 days. We went to Casco Viejo, and that's where we we was really smitten with the culture of Panama, but it was in the fact that we traveled outside of Casco on a private tour, looking in neighborhoods that we would consider living in. And that's what changed the game. And so when we talk about first time experiences, I'll never forget some of the first looks, the first ahas, the first oohs and ahs of like, oh my God, this is just like the video.
Right. And like you said, I mean, you can look at pictures, you can look at videos of places, but until you go there, you don't get to really experience it yourself. For me, Panama, I have been researching Panama for almost 3 years throughout the pandemic. And I was pleasantly surprised that it was everything I thought it was going to be, and it was everything I thought it wasn't going to be. And what I mean by that is that I had gotten such a broad view, the good, the bad, and ugly of Panama. And it turned out to be just that. And the good far, 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 far outweighed any bad here. But I think the thing that surprised me the most, and this was something people were not educated on Panama. The only thing most people know about Panama is the Panama Canal. Panama is situated where it's situated. We don't get hurricanes here. You don't get any of that. So no tropical storms, anything like that. It's perfectly seated where everything goes around it and it never comes here. So you don't have to worry about that. So you can travel here year round. They have rainy season. They have 2 seasons, dry season and rainy season. Rainy season is not monsoons. Rainy seasons is not, you're going to get blown away by the rain, or it's going to be raining, torrential rain all day. No, think about Florida. When you have rainstorms, it rains for a couple of hours, then it's dry a couple of hours later. It's pretty much the same as that, but that's 9 months out the year. But that's because Panama is actually a rainforest. There are rainforests everywhere. We're in the middle of a jungle. Now, we live in Panama City, which is a major metropolitan area. So when I say we live in the jungle, we don't live in a hut. We actually live in a high-rise condo building. It's very, very modern, very, very, very metropolitan, like many other cities around the world, major metropolitan cities around the world. Now, there are some things that are slightly different. The way that they move at a slower pace, but that's a good thing when you're coming for vacation or if you're coming for relaxation.
Or if you're coming to reignite your love.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right. You want a slower pace. You don't want that rip and run. Another thing that I will say, this Reignite experience, this is not your typical retreat. This is not a couples retreat. You're not coming here to sit in sessions. We're not going to be sitting there talking to you. We're not coaching you. We're not counseling you. This is a experience that we've created, that we have personally curated so that you guys can come here, get time together, experience some new experiences together, and be able to actually reconnect to one another. Yes, you'll be able to connect with other couples. You'll spend time with other couples, but this is about you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Jackie, I want you to chime in. And right after you finish, I am going to show a video. It's about a 6-minute video. And I want you guys to kind of take a peek from our personal driver / transportation professional's perspective. He is Panamanian. But he grew up in the U.S., and so he's bilingual. And the history that he gives you is really amazing about sort of the things that you can expect in this country. The other thing is, one of the days that we do have set aside is for y'all to go and connect. And we've curated some experiences that will allow for you to do that. And he's going to give you sort of some insight as to what some of those, should you choose them, experiences could look like for you. So, Jackie, come on, talk to people about just the practical nuts and bolts. What is this? When are the deadlines? How do we sign up? All the things. Let's get it.
Yeah, so there's the landing page. Are we showing that page on
Yeah, I think
today?
we'll be able to drop it on.
I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So on the landing page, it's very simple. You have your itinerary. The date's February 19th through February 23rd of 2025. You have more than enough time, I feel, to plan for this and to prepare. You have 4 nights, 5 days. Now, one of the things I want you to realize with that, if you want to do your own thing and come in early, stay a couple of extra days, especially considering the fact that it is around Valentine's Day, you can do that. If you're celebrating a birthday, I know we do have a couple on here where his birthday would be February 20th. So if you're celebrating something and want to extend, there's 2 room categories. So There's a beautiful appointed king bed overlooking Casco Viejo area, or you can get a junior suite. So we also have options for you. So one of the things with luxury, there's the luxury of options. So we definitely give you that, but there's a landing page. The booking process is very simple. One of the great things I like to say is me and my team, this is who you'll be speaking with. It's not going to be different people every time. We're very personable. Hopefully you can see that here. But the online process is very simple. Your deposit, the price today, it will end June 24th for the couples. So this is the time to lock in the current rate for, if that's something that in a budget that you need to keep. This is literally for two people, less than $3,500 for 4 nights and 5-star. It's not inclusive, but it's inclusive of your activities that you would do that's already been curated by Glenn and Sheri. You will have breakfast included with that. However, this is so romantic. So one of the things that I just want you to know, we also have third-party financing. You do have to qualify. However, if that is something where you want, it's more of like a buy now, pay later. It will have interest attached to it. Or with us, we have an interest-free option as well. The current deposit is $1,000 per couple. And as we said, on June 24th, if you're seeing this on the replay, know that it will possibly be more or sell out. Hopefully it's going to be sold out. It's only 15 rooms. So this is a very limited capacity experience for the intimacy and the connection aspect.
Now, Jackie, I wanted to address one thing because I had somebody ask me this online. Last week, they asked me how many couples were we opening this up to. We're keeping it at 15 couples because we want this to be an intimate experience.
Right.
We don't want 50 couples here and having to herd people like cattle or cows or whatever you want to say. We want this to, right. We wanted this to truly be an intimate experience where, you will be connecting with other couples, but it's not like you're trying to keep up with so many different people. It's going to be a small group of people. And so one thing that we're advising people is that if you've decided you're going to come, if you have a couple of friends that you guys normally travel with, or you go out with, have them come with you. So that way you already have your kind of built-in nucleus already when you get here, but know that there are not going to be 50 couples altogether. This is a very intimate experience because we want you guys to truly be able to experience all that we put in place. Jackie touched on, there are some activities that we have already curated that are included in this package, but you are going to have, you're not going to be running around every day. I think it's literally the activities are on 1, maybe 2 days. The rest of the time is your free time for you to get out, explore, sit around by the pool, do nothing, stay in your room, whatever it is you choose to do.
Yeah, and it's one of the reasons we chose to do this in Casco Viejo. So let me help you guys understand, and Omar's going to do a little bit better job of explaining some of the options and things and places you can go. Casco Viejo is Old Town Panama, and it's a vibe by itself. Sheri and I lived there for 10 days in an Airbnb with some friends, and we didn't want to leave. It is a city that doesn't sleep, in a sense that there's always something going on and happening 24/7. I promise you. It is probably the safest. I think Omar says it's the safest neighborhood in all of Panama. And part of that is because the president, his offices, their equivalent of the White House is in Casco Viejo. So there's a tremendous amount of presence. Not that Panama is a place that's unsafe, because we live here in the city and it's extraordinarily safe. I mean, that's part of the reasons we love it so much, because you don't see the mass policing and the mass shootings and all the things. And I mean, they have petty crimes like everywhere else in the world, but that's it. So I want you guys to be encouraged. We thought very long and hard about where we would do this, because if you want to go out for a stroll at midnight, you can. If you want to go out and you just want to take in a sunrise or a sunset, you can. And you don't have to be worried about that. And there are all kinds of eateries and cafes. The international cuisine is crazy. And so you do not have to worry about it. And let me help you understand from a budgetary standpoint, it's highly affordable. We have never eaten at a restaurant in Casco Viejo that's cost us more than any restaurant we've ever eaten in the US. I'm promise you that.
I'd like to chime in real quick on that. So I was speaking to my sister-in-law who is Jamaican, a native here, and she was bringing up Panama as a place where a lot of local Jamaicans actually go visit themselves because of the affordability to their economy. So if you consider the value of the dollar or other currencies to the dollar, that's saying something. Because in the economy that's typically weaker than the US, and for their local citizens to choose Panama as some place where they could feel like they can enjoy a really quality vacation without busting their pockets, that's a very good point, especially when it comes to food.
Yeah, we have found that to be true. Maria, who owns the Slingshot Trikers, it's a slingshot company where you can tour the city, and that'll be something that you guys will get a chance to do if you want. She has people that come over from Jamaica in a day trip to ride the trikes, have a good time, and they fly back to Jamaica. That's crazy.
Yeah, and one thing I wanted to talk. You talked about, you said eateries. I want to make sure this is very clear. When he says Casco Viejo, there are restaurants. There are all kinds of international restaurants. You can go from a 2-star restaurant to a 5-star restaurant. You have a wide selection of places to eat, all different cuisines there. And also, Jackie, you mentioned the dollars. Speaking of money, Panama uses the US dollar. So you don't have to worry about a foreign exchange. You don't have to worry about, changing your money or anything. The dollar is a dollar here. The only difference is that here in Panama, they do have the Balboa, which is a coin, but their coin, there's one that has gold in the middle. That's actually basically a silver dollar. And that's primarily what you'll get back. But everything else, they're quarters, nickels, dimes, just like we have in the US.
Yeah. So the exchange rate is 1-to-1, and you don't have to worry about that sort of thing. I'm anxious, and I want to get to this video, and I want people to see sort of the options that they may have and some of the beauty that Panama has to offer. So if you guys can bear with me, I'm going to hopefully, we're live. So I'm going to hopefully share the screen and not mess nothing up. Y'all do me a favor. Jackie, give me a thumbs up if you can hear this, okay, and see this. But this is Omar. Omar is family. Started out as just a driver, and he's become family. He also owns a touring company that partners with us when we're inviting people here. Stand by. Here you go.
Hi, my name is Omar, and I'm a Panamanian. I was born in Panama, but I was raised in the United States. I am a tour operator, and I specialized or focused in private tours for people that want to come to Panama and learn about the culture, the food, things to do, have fun. Panama is known for the canal worldwide. Most people, that's all they know about Panama. But Panama has so much more to offer than the canal. We have some of the world's most beautiful beaches. If you like the jungle, we have some of the best trails to walk here, some of the best views. We have all different type of weather. If you like the hot, humid, you got the city. If you like the dry, cool, we have Boquete. We have El Valle, which also has a very mild temperature all year round. If you like the rain, it rains 9 months out of the year here. If you don't like the rain, but you like it sunny, we also have Pedasí, which is almost dry almost all year round. So there definitely is a little bit of everything for everyone. Another thing that people find very fascinating when the first time they visit Panama is that Panama is an actual metropolitan city in the center of the jungle. It's not a jungle. So when you get here, you will find all the commodities of any first world location that you travel to, while still being surrounded by pristine nature, jungle, beaches, everything within an hour to 2 hours away. If you're looking for more a jungle experience, we have very nearby, less than 40 minutes away, you can visit Monkey Island, which is in the center of the canal. You also have El Valle, which is about 2 hours away. In El Valle, you get some beautiful views from the top of the mountains. El Valle is a town that is situated in the center of a dormant volcano. So it has its own temperature, its own climate, and also it's full of waterfalls, trails, and wildlife. Definitely a must do for nature lovers. If you don't want to go that far, you have Metropolitan Park, which is literally a park that has a view of the city. What makes this park so unique, aside from being so close to the city, literally 5 minutes away from wherever you're staying inside the center of the city, it is a major migration route taken by many animals. So your chances of seeing wildlife there is just very, very high. And it's a protected park. Obviously, we cannot feed the animals, but we can see and appreciate them from their natural habitat. Another great destination is Toboga Island. This is perfect for the beachgoers. It's a short 25-minute ferry ride away from the center of the city. You get to spend that half day or a full day on the beach. There are restaurants, bathrooms, everything available that you will need. Casco Viejo is the place where Panama was rebuilt after Cap Morgan destroyed the original city, which was Panama la Vieja. So today, Casco is the go-to spot for nightlife, for great cuisine, and rooftops. It is a very safe area. It's the safest area in Panama because of the presidency building that is right in there, Palacios de la Garza, which will be our version of the White House. This is why you will see a lot of police with their guns and all that, and a lot of patrol in that area. It's not because something is happening, but it's just because it's a highly secured area. You can walk through Casco all hours of the night without a care in the world. A question that I always get is, how are Panamanians with foreigners? Panama has always had a good relations, especially the actual people with the United States people. The language here is Spanish. So definitely if you're gonna visit Panama, you would want to at least get familiarized with the basic Spanish words, like buenos días, buenas tardes, la cuenta, el 10%, which when you're leaving a tip. Buenos días means good morning. Buenas tardes means good afternoon. We don't need to ask to go to the bathroom. We'll ask, where is the bathroom? So you will ask, ¿dónde está el baño? So in Panama, even if you don't speak the language, they will try to work with you as long as you are also trying to put in an effort to try to communicate with them. So even if your Spanish isn't that good, just you trying to say the words will make people a lot more helpful to you. So one thing that I would like everyone to know is when you come to Panama, the service here is different. It's not worse, it's not bad, it's just different. We have a different way of handling things. So in the US, you have the waiters, they're hovering over you every 2 to 3 seconds, right? To make sure you're good with everything. In Panama, the waiters will not do that. And it's not because they're not ready to assist you with whatever you need. It's that they want to allow you to enjoy your meal with your family members, or your friends, or whoever you're with there. So they don't want to be bothering you every 2 to 3 seconds, right? So over here, we have the custom of, we call the waiter, hey, joven, to come to the table and assist you, and then we ask them for whatever they need. And as soon as you raise your hand and you yell out the word joven, which just means young person, even if they're not young. Here in Panama, we use joven for everything. If you're not sure what to call someone, say joven. You will not go wrong. No one's going to be offended. Now, if you say señora to the wrong person, you might have another experience. So I hope to see you guys here in Panama. Hope this has cleared up any other doubts you guys have. If you have any other questions, my line's open. Hope to see you here soon.
It's La Compañía, part of the Unbound collection by Hyatt. Hope to see you at the Reignite Experience.
All right.
You know what I
Right.
thought
Yeah.
about?
I'm listening.
For those who are curious about, well, for one, I would say if anyone's cruise and they stopped in Old San Juan, this is probably the closest, if people just need to feel like, what am I going to experience? I would say flying into Puerto Rico, Old San Juan. This is probably close. Will y'all agree with that?
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
for sure. For
Definitely.
sure. San Juan, Old San Juan. It also is really reminiscent of the French Quarter in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For those people who've been to New Orleans, it's just an entire city of that kind of architecture. I've never been to Cuba, but I've had people who've been to Cuba that when they walk through parts of Casco Viejo, they're like, oh my God, this is Cuba vibes. It's just 2024 as opposed to, in terms of all the amenities that you're used to in other parts of the world.
Right. And the other thing, Casco Viejo, and we talked about where we're doing this, Casco Viejo is like right on the edge of Panama City. It's part of Panama City, but it's on the edge. But you have everything there in Casco. Literally, you don't have to leave Casco Viejo if you don't want to. I mean, there are drugstores, there's actually a grocery store there. There's, like I said, tons of restaurants, there are museums. There are plenty of activities you can do right there in Casco Viejo. If you want to leave the area, like we said, you're gonna have days that you're gonna have free time that you can, and we're gonna provide you with some recommended activities for you to do and connect you with travel partners, our tour operators here that can help you connect and do other things if you want to. But you really don't have to leave the city. You can, think about. And I hate to even use this as an example, but this is what people always would say. They wanted to go to Paris and they wanted to go experience the romance of Paris. But I've learned some different things about Paris. Haven't been there, but I've heard different things about Paris.
Wait, hold up now. Keep it easy.
No. I'm not saying Paris is bad, but I'm just saying this is the feel that people would go to Paris for. You can get this in a tropical environment. In the tropical temperatures, it's 80, 90 degrees year round here in Panama City. The time of year that we're doing this in February is during dry season, so you don't have to worry about it raining. For my fellow African-American sisters that are natural, you don't have to worry about the humidity necessarily puffing out your hair. Like now it's rainy season, I can't wear my hair out because but in dry season, I don't have to worry about that so much. But so it's a tropical environment. And this is the other thing. I know a lot of times in the States, that time of year, from November to January, you want to get away from the cold. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Yep.
Come to Panama.
Yeah, Sheri, I want to interject really quickly. And Jackie, we're going to go ahead and wrap up with you. I want to make sure that you get people the information that they need in order to be able to secure their spot. But one of the things that I love is that when you do get a chance to have the day to go and explore, Omar has done really good job of curating some things that you can go to quickly. I think about the Amador Causeway that gives you access to the ferries to go to Toboga Island, and just the causeway itself is a whole vibe. Casco is known for its rooftops. Let me say this for my rooftop fans. I have never been to rooftops, and I've gone to a lot of them that's quite like this. And the reason why is because there are no bad shots. There are no bad views at all. I don't care what rooftop you go to. Now, the rooftop itself may have a different vibe from one rooftop to another, but them views, listen to me. It's the kind of stuff that makes you say, I ain't trying to leave. And that's what happened to us a year ago. And so that's why we currently live here. So I just want to say, I hope this is something that piques your interest. I hope this is something that you would strongly consider. And Sheri, before we go back to Jackie, you got something?
I did have one. I wanted to answer a question that was posed to us in regard to accessibility for individuals that may be handicapped, that are in wheelchairs. La Compañía, the hotel we're doing the event in, is a 5-star hotel, and you will be comfortable there in that hotel. Now, I'll be honest with you, Panama as a whole does not have ADA requirements. So there are some places that are easier to get in. There are some places that are not. The sidewalks are not necessarily regulated. Casco Viejo there are a number of places that you will not have challenges getting in, but there are some that there may be some challenges. So I want to give a realistic overview, but the hotel, the actual place where we're hosting the event, the host hotel, you won't have any problems whatsoever in that facility. And, as far as our transportation and things like that, they will be able to accommodate you. And even if you decide to go outside of the hotel and go to other places, most places, with some, you let us know in advance, we can scout out and make sure that you can get into them. But as long as, I would strongly recommend using transportation to get to and from, not trying to go down the sidewalks and things like that, unless it's like right around the hotel. But most of the times our drivers are able to help accommodate you, to help you to get in and out of places, as long as it's not someplace with a lot of steps and things like that.
If I can add this really quickly, we've had family visit us who are bound to wheelchairs.
Right.
And we personally have gone to Costco several times with them.
Right.
But it was because we scouted out specific places that we went to. We did brunch one time, one day. So this is a place that you got to do your homework. And
Right.
for anybody who, and here's what I also know about people who are in wheelchairs or have broad disability issues in terms of navigating the landscape. You are researchers.
Right.
That's what I know about you. Y'all are researchers, and this is no different. And we would be more than happy to help you figure that out. I will say this again, and I can't underscore this enough. This is a Hyatt property. This is a U.S. property in the sense that you're going to find inside this hotel, which is a living museum, by the way, that is absolutely navigable. And there's not much, I don't think there's anything that you can't do inside the hotel if you are in, a wheelchair in that regard. So I just want to encourage you, we're not going to cut corners and we're not going to sugarcoat that part, because what we don't want is for your expectations to be unmanaged. We want to definitely help you manage your expectations. Jackie, in closing, is there anything that you want to share that people need to know?
Yes.
Jackie, before you answer that, I wanted to ask you that in regard to other countries, other destinations internationally, as far as ADA,
Right. Yeah, you're getting right there, because I was going to go right into that. Well, first, before you say that, before I go there with your question, I want anyone, when you're registering, there is an actual section of the registration form for any accessible needs, food, dietary, special requirements. Let us know that up front. There may be things that you may not even consider. If you have a CPAP machine and you need distilled water, those are, my agency in general is a concierge level service agency. So those are the details that we absolutely want to know, so that we can make sure either we can accommodate you, or we can say, maybe this won't be the best experience. So we just want all of those details up front. So just let us know that. It's on the registration form, very easy to provide that information, as well as other countries. So you're right. United States is above the curve when it comes to accessibility policy and just catering to the needs. And it's very interesting, because when I first went to Europe, you was like, well, don't they get old? Like, how does that work? But, and not to go too deep on this one, they're used to walking, climbing steps. So their mobility in general, just used to activity that in the States, with us being a lot of car prone, our bodies break down a little easier than most. So they haven't necessarily needed to. And then those countries are super old, where their buildings are legit. Like, we are the new world. If you really go back to your old history books and start to consider how America was called the new world, you're not going to see, except, like you say, in the metropolitan, Panama is very unique in that aspect, where it actually feels like you're in Miami, like a real US city. But most international countries, it will be a major city, but they won't look modern buildings. And one of the things I wanted to kind of let everyone know, if you've never been to Europe, if you've always had a desire to go across the pond, as we say in the South, on that 8-hour flight, and you're like, oh my goodness, and you're not sure, and I'm so happy you mentioned Paris, this is the best introduction to a European style vacation, because there aren't all-inclusives in Europe unless you're going like ski lodges, etc., and depends on different other special interests. You're going to stay very similar to a vacation in New Orleans, or going to Nashville or Atlanta. It's a hotel, it's a city. You're going to stay in a hotel, and you're going to have breakfast included. And then around the area where this hotel is centrally located, you'll have walkable eateries and areas to enjoy. So definitely just trying to help you understand that this is going to be very equivalent to what it would be like to go to Europe. So if you've been to Europe though, but you've never been to Panama, however, you've been to maybe you haven't even been to New Orleans or San Juan. But if you have, you kind of already put yourself in the mindset of the expectation. And so I just kind of wanted to end because I've learned from 10 years, actually today is a decade of my business. We celebrate 10 years today.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Celebrating it with y'all. It's just a really
Listen.
great, great opportunity. But what I've known is that there's a lot of, we want to hear from you. I think that's really what I'm getting to. If you have feedback, let us know. You know, if you have concerns and questions, let us know. We can't serve you if we don't understand what is internally going on in your mind with questions. Even if it's even if it's not about this particular experience, but maybe a possible future experience, because this will go outside of a couple's experience for See and Taste Panama. Like, we just need to know what you want to know so that we can continue to educate and provide comfort and peace of mind, because we don't want you doing anything that you're not comfortable with first. And that's why we're here. And that's why we're giving our time every week to just educate you on this.
100%. Guys, let me just say this. We are incredibly excited. The deadline, June 24th, is coming quickly. That's the deadline for your deposits. Get in touch with New Vibe Travel. Get in touch with Jackie. Find out what you need. I know that they've dropped links in the comments below. If you are watching this by way of replay and you have questions, put it in the comments. We are very, very good about getting back to people who comment to us. And so I just want to make sure, and Jackie hit the nail on the head, even if it's about a future experience, Sheri and I are going to be curating what we're going to call taste and see tours, particularly where relationships are concerned. And here's why. We have experienced something that has given our relationship after 25 years new life. And that is the idea of experiencing things that counter what we've experienced. Let me give you a quick understanding of what I mean by that. For 25 years, Sheri and I grew up, we obviously are American, and we navigated life like most Americans, achieving the dreams, raising the kids, doing all the things, going hard in the paint. We had a life in ministry where we gave until we gave out. We sacrificed until there was nothing left to give. We know what it's like to get in the trenches with families who are struggling and trying to figure it out. And quite frankly, I never thought that we could achieve a level of freedom with the choices that we have, both resources and time, than we do. I thought I'd be 70 before that happened. And I'm grateful that we're able to live a life that most people dream about. And to be quite frank, I really think it's more achievable than most give credit for. But you will never know if you don't come, you don't taste, and you don't see what those options look like. So I want to encourage you guys, definitely sign up. Sheri, you got anything before we roll?
I just hope to see you guys in Panama.
Jackie, I want to say happy anniversary.
Yes,
that is so exciting. This is one proud coach over here. For those that don't know, that's how we met Jackie. I actually coached her in business during the pandemic, and she was making some pivots and doing some different things. And I'm just so excited to see the growth and the maturation process of not only you as a person, you as a wife, your family, but also the business that God has given you. Keep doing what you do, girl. And thank you for saying yes to being partners with us as crazy as we are. Because listen, we all need some help.
Match made in heaven.
Listen, y'all be good. At the end of the day, here's what I can promise you. You cannot get to any place of significance by yourself, because we all need some help. And we look forward to seeing you guys on the next edition of Behind Closed Doors.